We look ahead to today, and we've already referenced the weather. So how does that impact at all the pitchers? Because now you've had like a 20-degree drop in weather.
You know, I think it's going to impact more the start of their warm-ups. Maybe they're taking a little bit more time to get those legs loose, to get that heart rate up. But we know these pitchers are going to go out there and try to make those adjustments as quickly as possible, knowing that temperature is starting out today a bit lower than it has the past few days.
First pitch and swung on by Savannah Polar, the leadoff hitter for the Bruins, and the 4-3 put out. And in the circle as the defense backing up the senior, Mac Leonard, who gets the go today.
Leonard looking to bounce back from her appearance in yesterday's ball games. Somebody we see her on both sides of the ball, typically playing first base, but we know that she has the ability to bring some good stuff in the circle. She's got ball in the upper 60s, screwball, rise ball, curveball combination, and she really worked on developing that drop ball down in the zone last year.
Another ground ball induce, and Maya Brady is able to beat it out off the glove of Leonard, fielded by the shortstop Muffley, but the wheels of Brady couldn't get to her in time.
And maybe this UCLA offense taking advantage of the fact that they think it might take Mac Leonard a few pitches to get warmed up in the circle, because we talked about that drop in temperature today, but they are attacking the zone early. A couple of drop balls early in this ball game that they are just pounding straight into the dirt.
In addition to about 56 degrees, also a little wind, but blowing in. We saw it blowing out yesterday, and Megan Grant standing in from the left side as we take a look at the UCLA Bruins lineup. And Savannah Polo has been so effective in that leadoff position, of course, getting her out huge. But then you think about Jordan Woolery coming into this program, one of those big bats from the left side. We've already seen a grand slam from her this weekend. So many new faces and newcomers in this UCLA program. Megan Grant, Jordan Woolery among them, as Woolery's on deck. And smacked over to the first baseman and tried to get the double play, but Muffley couldn't get it out in time. However, the lead runner is retired.
Bethany Keene over at first base. We mentioned that typically when Mac Leonard's not in the circle, she's over at first, but Bethany Keene, a very good fielding first baseman as well. She's playing a bit further back, fielded that ball quickly, fired it over to Muffley, but just wasn't able to get back to first base on time. I thought when that ball was hit, it was going to be a ground ball double play, but UCLA still alive with 2 away.
Well, we referenced the Woolery Grand Slam, and let's look back to yesterday, one of those mini home runs, but this one, the big juicer.
Aqua Montana fouls too, an 0-2 count. She got a rise ball up in the zone. You talk about something that's going to give you a ton of confidence heading into this season. How about that grand slam?
You saw the good defense, flashing the glove, backhand from Bethany Keene at first, and that ends the inning. A single given up, but nothing other than that. We'll see the Florida State bats when we return. Well, if you choose to be out on the seas, I mean, what's that, like glass almost, looking at the Gulf of Mexico. Bottom half of the first inning, the 7th-ranked Florida State Seminoles coming up to bat here as we'll see Taylor Tinsley, the fresh arm, getting the start for the Bruins.
Really excited to watch this freshman go after the Seminoles today. Going to see her throw the ball with really good velocity, 67, 68 miles per hour, working on developing that drop ball, but she has great spin and movement with the rise ball and a nice off-speed pitch that you're going to see her use as well.
Well, Tinsley taking a few warm-up pitches, and in the process, we can tell you about Florida State. And their lineup coming your way. Kaylee Mudge will lead things off, but how about the afternoon that Kaylee Harding had yesterday and that win over Arkansas?
We knew she was going to be a big factor, but having a 2-for-2 day, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs against another top 10 opponent, that's the type of stuff that you love to see out of your leaders in your lineup.
The great challenge that these teams face over this 4-day invitational. You stack up these top 10, top 25 matchups put yourself in good position to make a strong run in conference play and beyond. For Florida State, remember, they ran through the regular season, made another appearance in the NCAA tournament. Senior Kaylee Mudge back for more. The center fielder ahead in the count, 2-0. And Charlize Palacios having a quick conversation with the freshmen. Again, we talked about the newcomers by way of the freshman class, but also through the transfer portal, as Palacios is one of those impact transfers.
Might be a new face to this UCLA team, but definitely a veteran presence that she brings out there on the field. The quarterback from back behind the plate, taking initiative in that at-bat, seeing that Taylor Tinsley's fallen behind 3-0, calls time and goes out there just to try to get her to regroup, refocus, and get herself back into this at-bat.
A well-spent timeout right there as Tinsley is able to get it in there for a strike. What a pressure-packed moment for Tinsley to get a start here against the 7th-ranked Seminoles, and that one is called for a strike.
And here the Seminoles fans not liking that call on the rise ball. But if I'm Taylor Tinsley and the rise ball is my bread and butter, I am going right back to that same spot.
Well, Kaylee Mudge says, I'll take care of things. The opposite field hit, she's going for 2 and a stand-up double for Mudge.
Looked like Kaylee Mudge was thinking the same thing I was up here in the booth, that Tinsley was going to go back to the rise ball outside. This one slightly lower in the zone, and look at the way that she just takes her hands towards that left field line, driving it all the way out to the wall to allow this leadoff runner to get into scoring position.
Mudge setting it up for Mac Leonard to try to be able to knock in the first run of the game, help her cause at the plate. And Leonard, second year in this Florida State system. Preseason All-ACC selection.
These are the types of spots that you want to see your freshman put in February. Her first appearance, she was one catcher's interference call away from a perfect game. Ended up throwing a no-hitter in her first outing as a UCLA Bruin, now finding herself with a bit of a challenge. Runner in scoring position, nobody away. Let's see how the freshman responds in the circle.
Coming in from Lawrenceville, Georgia, first player recruited to this UCLA softball program from the Peach State. That one close. Chris Neighbors behind the plate, not given there.
Pitch looking good outside, taking another look at the location. Not sure where that one's missing. It looks like it's clipping that low outside part of the plate. But a big smile after that no call from the freshman, so you gotta love the attitude that she's bringing out there.
That one in there for a strike, and you see how she just said, let me change it up.
Pun intended. The changeup coming in there. Pulling the string on it, low in the zone too. That one's a bit low, but hey, she'll take that call.
Full count. The payoff. And she walks Mac Leonard. So first 2 batters aboard with no outs.
She's really trying to locate the rise ball outside to the lefty batters. Now I'll be curious to see how she changes her game plan, knowing that a couple of righties are coming up to the plate. Does she try to work maybe a curveball outside to the righties? See if she can get a fly ball out. This is the part of the order that you want up if you're the Seminoles. Kaylee Harding and Michaela Edenfield back to back.
Well, we'll show you why if you're a Florida State fan, because this is what she did yesterday.
Going off of the reigning SEC Pitcher of the Year, and Shanice Dell, she goes yard way over that center field wall, not just once, but twice. True sign of a great hitter is being able to have power to all fields, and Kaylee Harding showed us that yesterday.
When she was swinging for the fences there, she left no doubt yesterday. We'll see how she fares today. The junior with 9 RBI already in just the second weekend of the 2023 season. Kelly Inoue Perez, the head coach, a mainstay and a very familiar face within this UCLA program. Been in Westwood for a long time, watching as her freshman competes in the circle. Where she is a mastermind, has had so much success with this UCLA program as most successful college softball program. Won 3 national championships as a player, a couple as a head coach, and
we got a chance to talk to Coach too, just about how this year might be a little bit different for her with 11 newcomers on the team, whether it be freshmen or transfers. You can see just that UCLA program history. Those 12 Women's College World Series titles again. It's a historic program with some truly fantastic players that have come out of it. Lisa Fernandez being one of them, Rachel Garcia, Natasha Watley. But talking to her about how she approached the fall with so many new faces, almost a different look for UCLA. She said they really took those first 2 weeks just to go over what it means to be a Bruin, how you walk around, what things you do on the field and off the field. Really broke it down from the beginning. That way they're all on the same page moving forward once you get into the softball aspect of being a UCLA Bruin. There is a certain swagger and confidence in which they walk around the field. And I think of people like Megan Faremo and how she's grown in her presence in the circle. And what a great opportunity for somebody like Taylor Tinsley, who we're seeing out here today, to learn from not just Megan Faremo, but also Lisa Fernandez on the staff too, and feed off of that competitive spirit that she brings to the field every single day.
Harding continuing to battle and fouling off pitches. We saw 7 pitches in the inning, in the first top half of the inning from Mac Leonard. But FSU is making the first-year player for UCLA work in the circle. Very close, not getting the call. A couple of times she's tried to go out there, and if my eyes are seeing what you're seeing, apparently it's not clicking with Chris Neighbors, because it says maybe just outside or tip a little bit high?
Maybe a bit outside. It's a good-looking pitch, but it's a call that they're not getting to both the righties and the lefties, so the pitchers are just going to have to adjust.
Well, obviously, we're seeing it in real time, and it's coming in from a different angle, so for as critical as we can tend to be up here sometimes, not always the easiest thing to do. But you like that from Taylor Tinsley, because she's also missing close.
I love how she's nitpicking on the corners too. You get that umpire looking in the same spot. You might start to see some of those calls being made down the line.
Harding puts this one in the air and into left, and that's Janelle Mionio underneath it for the first out. You know, when she swings the bat, and with the way it left the yard yesterday, unsure, but a big out there for Tinsley. Janelle Mionio, one of those, again, new additions to this Bruin program. A couple of in-conference transfers. You leave a Pac-12 rival like Arizona, both she and Charlize Palacios, and come over to UCLA.
Even somebody like Brooke Yanez coming over from Oregon as well, another in-conference transfer. Something I think we're seeing a bit more these days in the nature of the transfer portal.
I gotta ask though, would you have ever gone to?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question. Not something I thought about while I was playing, that's for sure.
The 0-1 count to the catcher, Michaela Edenfield. Four for 10 this season with runners in scoring position, a couple of doubles. And the redshirt sophomore looks at strike two.
Into the back-to-back changeups. I like the confidence that she's showing in that off-speed pitch. You know, when you're on a pitching staff that is working underneath Lisa Fernandez, you're gonna have an elite off-speed pitch. Typically, you don't see pitchers going to it back-to-back, but I like the fact that she's been able to move it in different locations, too.
2-2 and getting her to chase high. And strikeout number one for Taylor Tinsley.
When you can throw those changeups consistently for strikes, it gets in the back of these hitters' minds. They're constantly thinking about it. So when you bring in the 67-mile-per-hour rise ball up at the hands, it makes it look like it's coming in that much faster. Get big swings and misses like we just saw from Edenfield.
So after giving up the leadoff double and walk, she's retired the last two batters and now faces Devin Flaherty. Flaherty coming in from the left side. Making sure Mudge goes back to second. You see Leonard there at first. Talk about captaining this defense from behind the plate. Palacios already very active. Getting that one low and keeping it in front. Favorable count for Flaherty. Taking all the way. Ball four. So second walk given up by Tinsley. That loads the bases. And Katie Dack was a part of that home run fest yesterday. Now has the bases juiced.
Now, Tiffany, you mentioned the home run that Katie Dack hit yesterday. Let's take a look at it. The transfer coming over from Texas A&M gets every bit of this pitch, pulling it to the left side. She does such a good job of utilizing her lower half and her swings to power her barrel through those pitches.
Leads the team in RBI so far with 11. And again, another conference in the circle with Palacios and our young pitcher, Tinsley. And see Megan Ferramo getting warmed up in the pen. Reigning Pac-12 pitcher of the year. Standing by if needed.
Coach Lisa Fernandez on the right. Coach Inoue Perez talking to Coach Kirk Walker, all of them strategizing what's going to be the best way to get their team back in the dugout.
Such great synergy amongst this staff. Been together for a long time. Knows the standard that you have to coach to, and continuously restocking the talent in Westwood. play it off. 3 balls and a strike. Big pitch on the way. And Dak lines it out to second base. Anna Vines backing up the freshman pitcher, getting out of the jam.
A big-time pitch by the freshman and an even bigger play by Anna Vines. This is how you have your pitchers back, laying it all out, stealing hits away from the opponents. We still got a tie ball game.
TaxAct Clearwater Invitational, presented by EvoShield, is brought to you by TaxAct. File for less and get more. St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. Let's shine. Plan your escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com. EvoShield, the source for custom fitting protective gear. And Gatorade, and our commitment to fuel tomorrow.
Putting your feet in the water, walking along the sand. Hey, was that ball one of the home run balls from yesterday? I mean, they were hitting them a mile. The hunt was on too, and now the hunt is on for shells.
Maybe there's a couple of softballs in those buckets. Maybe they're finding some out there.
Well, you mentioned the quick work of Mac Leonard in the last half inning. 7 pitches thrown, the fewest on this field this weekend.
3 up, 3 down innings, especially on field 8, are not easy to come by for these pitchers. Attacking UCLA with the drop ball early. They've been aggressive in their at-bats, seeing if they can capitalize on something maybe left over the heart of the zone. We mentioned how Mac Leonard's trying to bounce back from yesterday. Went in there, gave up back-to-back home runs, seeing if she can keep it lower in the zone, keep this ball in the park today.
A loud foul from Palacios, who we mentioned coming over from Tucson. And while she is a great catcher and brings a nice defensive skill, she's also one of the top RBI producers from a season ago. Charlize Palacios is one of those hitters that ever so dangerous. Think back to the great postseason she had, as that one scorched her back to Leonard, and she is retired.
Another ground ball out too, and that's what you want to see if you're Mac Leonard. You're really going to see her force the defense behind her or herself to make those plays, because she wants to roll up those ground ball outs. Head coach Lenny Alameda calling the pitches from the other dugout.
15 seasons as the head coach of the Seminoles. Remember, they won the national championship back in 2018. And one of the consistent threats season in and season out. Here's Kennedy Powell. Powell from Conroe, Texas. That high-ranking freshman class.
Now looking down the list, 4 of the 9 starters today for UCLA are freshmen. Just shows you the type of confidence that the coaching staff has in this incoming class and the strides that they made in the offseason. They've been putting in the work to make sure that they were ready by the time season came around in February, because you know that these top 10 matchups are coming around.
And Mac Leonard gets the strikeout, first of the day.
Good location for this pitch. You could see a bit of a hesitant swing by Kennedy Powell. Look at the way this drop ball almost wraps around the lefty batter. The benefit of getting ahead in the count is being able to throw pitches like that down in the zone and get big swings and misses.
So far, liking what we're seeing from Mac Leonard in the circle. Seneca Kuro. At the plate, Madison Shipman, Tiffany Green here with you. Top 10 matchup on this Saturday morning. UCLA and Florida State. The Seminoles looking to continue their strong weekend. Both teams have been perfect here in Clearwater. Two outs in the inning. It was a quick one last inning for Mac Leonard. I'm going to do just a little bit more. And this one goes foul. Count even up at 2-all.
Bruins were really aggressive early in the count in the first inning, being a bit more patient now in the top of the second. Leonard getting some good downward bite on that pitch. Trying to see if they can get something with their barrels underneath, drive it into the grass. All sorts of good vibes coming from that UCLA dugout. I always feel like it's a dugout that's well known for their coordinated chants throughout the ball game. Get the fans into it too.
You talked about the time they spent together. You know, that's part of what they got to get down. Curl waiting on that one over the third, and that ends the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Mac Leonard, who's keeping UCLA at bay after 1.5.
We are playing softball here in Clearwater. The amount of great matchups that we have here, unparalleled.
Coming on to make the diving catch.
Wow, just really big plays.
Back to the track and gone.
The best ticket, the hardest ticket to get in town.
If you want some, come get some. We're here, fans are here, and certainly the games are here for you on our ESPN networks. Just take your pick, whatever you want to choose.
Quad box early in the day. You know I love a good quad box. Oklahoma State going up against Louisiana. Megan Schwarman in the circle for Louisiana. She's got one of the best backdoor curveballs. That thing moves all over the place. South Florida going up against A&M. Been impressed with the way that A&M's been swinging the bat. Riley Valentine with 2 home runs in yesterday's ball game. How about Duke and UCF? UCF already up 1-0 on the Blue Devils.
And the Blue Devils, who surprised Arkansas yesterday. So trying to be one of those teams. Has a nice backhanded grab from Megan Grant. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know a little bit about the freshman, check her out right there.
Love to see solid infield defense. Such a quick reaction, a great backhand. Look at the way that her eyes tracked that ball all the way into her glove. No panic, so smooth. Definitely a freshman that you want to watch this season is Megan Grant over at third base.
Hallie Waycaser retired. Bethany Keene is up to bat, and you don't hear coaches oftentimes, especially one with the experience of Kelly Noy Perez, having the talent that's come through, talk about freshmen a lot. She certainly mentioned Megan Grant a time or two.
And we've talked a lot about what she can bring offensively. Very smooth left-handed swing, so strong, very composed in the box too. But defensively, in high school playing shortstop, so she can move a little bit, moving over to that third base position, though, for the Bruins.
Bethany Keene, opposite field, going back off the wall, and it's going to be a double. It was kind of tough to gauge how that ball was going to be played by Janelle Mionyo in left.
And another lefty in this Seminole offense that's been successful off of Taylor Tinsley today. Bethany Keene getting a good piece of this rise ball that's tailing away from her, but she gets good extension on that outside pitch, driving it over the head of Mionyo in left field for a stand-up double with one away.
And Knowles fans love it. Second base hit of the season. Both have been doubles off the bat of Bethany Keene. The 9-hole hitter, Josie Muffley, looks at strike one. So you've seen the success, as you pointed out, Madison, of the left-handed batters in the lineup for Florida State. We'll see if the righties can get something going.
Yeah, it's interesting with the lefties too, because she's primarily staying on the outside part of the plate with them, going with her rise ball away, not coming inside too much. And I think because of that, the lefties have just zeroed on that outer half of the plate. They are going up there and attacking that pitch. And if it's missing outside, they're taking it for a walk. And already 2 base hits that we've seen from the lefties, along with 2 free bases.
That one coming inside to Muffley. Well, Florida State is one of those teams, like a chameleon, can change it up, and we saw them use a lot of small ball whenever it was necessary. Of course, Kaylee Harding and company can go yard, and that one punched through the 3-4 hole along the right side, bobbled by Pola and right, and that scores the first run of the game. Knowles up 1-0.
How about the bottom half of the order getting things done for the Seminoles? Started off with that stand-up double by Bethany Keene, and then Josie Muffley in the 9 spot goes with this outside pitch, doesn't even finish her swing fully, lets go of her bat and drives it through the 3-4 hole. And as Savannah Pola is trying to come up with it cleanly, it bounces up her glove, rolls off of her shoulder, and scoots away from her to allow Bethany Keene to score easily on that ball out to the grass.
Florida State feeling it up on the freshman, 1-0. Lisa Fernandez coming to the circle to have a chat with the youngster. We saw Megan Ferramo getting ready in the bullpen earlier in this game, but they're going to go with another arm in Lauren Shaw. And we'll tell you more about her when we come back here to Clearwater. Monday night in the Pac-12, it's UCLA, the Bruins on the hardwood, going to Maples Pavilion to go against Cameron Brink of the third-ranked Stanford Cardinal. That's at 9 p.m. over on ESPN2. Well, Lauren Shaw, the new pitcher in the circle for the Bruins. And what does she bring, Madison?
Well, already she's going to be a completely different look. Coming from the left side, started off this ball game with the freshman and Taylor Tinsley coming from the right. Now you've got a graduate senior coming from the left. Going to throw about mid-60s, 64, 65 miles per hour. Very crafty, has a bunch of different pitches, but she's more of that pitch to contact type of pitcher. She wants to induce some ground ball outs, force that defense to make some good plays behind her to see if she can get her squad back in there to pick up the bats.
Well, the numbers for Taylor Tinsley through 1 1/3 inning, 3 hits given up. And that 1 run coming off the bat of Josie Muffley, who was able to score Bethany Keene off the miscue in right field. And so that was just a learning moment that you bank in your mind if you're a freshman to take with you moving forward throughout the season.
And you'd imagine she was probably a bit amped up coming into this ball game too. Going up against the Seminoles, it's a top 10 matchup. seemed there was a couple of times, especially to those left-handed batters, where maybe she was missing her spots. They were trying to work it inside, but then it fell out of her hand away. So you're exactly right, Tiffany. Just those learning moments that she's going to use throughout this season.
Well, now the lefty-lefty matchup the second time around in the lineup, as Kaylee Mudge will see the southpaw Shaw. Mudge doubled to open it up for the Seminoles, and right back up the middle. And the play at home, is it in time? Does she get underneath? And Muffley is able to do so as the ball pops out of the glove. And Kaylee Mudge moving all the way over to third on the throw.
Kaylee Mudge wasting no time in this at-bat. The second pitch that she sees, and she drives it right back where it came from, up the middle. Maya Brady making a good play on this, firing it home, and when Charlize Palacios went to put the tag down, the ball got loose out of her glove and skipped away from her. And because of that, that's how Mudge able to get to third base. And yeah, it looks like the foot maybe of Josie Muffley might have been a reason why Palacios wasn't able to get a good grip on that throw in there. And they're making another quick change here to Faremo.
So Shaw only faced one batter, gave up a run, and the change made to the All-American Megan Faremo coming in to the circle. Faremo, who just burst on the scene in her freshman year and just got better and better. She had time to develop too.
She's learning every single year, and we saw her yesterday going up against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Early in the game, gave up a couple of home runs to Ashley Prangy, but then settled in. I love the way that she mixed speeds throughout the ball game too, working her high velocity pitches in the upper 60s, but also working the off-speed drop and even a bit of a running pitch that runs to the arm side that's in between those speeds. It's in between that 55-mile-per-hour drop and her high velocity pitches. So somebody that's constantly tinkering with her stuff out there to make sure that she's keeping opposing hitters on their toes. And again, you're going to see her pump the ball up there with some good velocity too. She'll bring it up into the 70s. That elite spin and movement that she has, developing the curveball drop ball combination. And again, you mentioned if you're going to be working underneath Lisa Fernandez, you are going to have a devastating changeup.
Next out to the Noles, the designated hitter, Kaylee Harding.
Florida State, a 2-0 advantage. Mac Leonard at the plate.
Mac Leonard batting.
Out of Florida's capital of Tallahassee. This Knoll program has been to 11 Women's College World Series, won 18 ACC titles. Looking for another banner year, and also trying to kind of bounce back after quick exit last year. This group is really experienced, and now a player like Mac Leonard.
And no doubt about it that it was a bit of a disappointing finish for the Seminoles last year, getting knocked out in their own Tallahassee Regional, actually by Mississippi State, who's here at this Clearwater Invitational. They're trying to bounce back. They're trying to learn from that experience. Even took some time in the fall to go over those regional games, not just to go over some of the places that they can do better, but also some areas where they could really celebrate what they accomplished last season. Graduated some veterans in Sydney Sherrill and Danielle Watson, but brought in some young faces, a dynamic offense that they're bringing out here.
Well, 3-2 count to Mac Leonard. And Faremo delivers. This one popped up in the infield, and Fines giving chase to it. And 2 away.
Those high fly balls have been really tough for, of course, not just the outfielders, but the infielders as well. The wind moving a different direction than it was yesterday. Yesterday, we saw all those flags that you're seeing right there blowing out towards right field. Now they're blowing more towards left field, towards the field behind us. You can see Anna Vines taking the drop step out towards right and then having to come all the way back almost to that pitcher circle to make that catch.
Kaylee Harding looks at strike 1. Harding was 2 for 2 with 3 RBI yesterday. The pitch, Harding swinging on it and fouled up and back behind home plate. So in this young game, Florida State has forced 3 different hands for the Bruins.
Been impressed with how quickly Florida State's offense has been able to make adjustments in today's ball game. Knocking out the starter, Taylor Tinsley, and Lauren Shaw only being able to come in for 1 batter before they bring in Megan Faremo. Of course, a different look. We'll see how quickly they can try to jump on Faremo in this ball game.
Laying off and just freezing Harding, and that ends the inning, but not before Florida State is able to put up 2. Megan Faremo coming in and doing what she needs.
Pulling the string on this off-speed pitch to get one of the most clutch players in the country down looking.
Sing it with me, Madison. Yo ho, it's a pirate's life for me. You want to get on that shit, man?
Oh, I see what you did there. Oh,
okay.
I see what you did there. That was a good one. I like how you worked that one out.
You were waiting for it.
I was.
I know. Everyone at home was too. The key matchups you want to keep your eye on for the rest of the day. UCLA will be back in action. Another top 10 matchup. We keep saying that over and over again, but because that's why this weekend is so great. They'll face off against Virginia Tech. Arkansas looking to bounce back today after a rough Friday and start to their Clearwater weekend. Schedule update brought to you by Evo Shield. Love how big this weekend is. Tournament. Everyone wanting to get involved in this great sport of softball because it continues to rise. And why not? I mean, you look at just the play, the skill, and the interest of the game from all.
Well, I love how close you can get to the players for these young fans to be able to watch some of their favorite athletes compete early in the season. Looking through that notebook to see which players are on the field right now, which ones they want to get their autographs from. There's a couple of autograph sessions too. And see these young ladies just lining up, waiting their turn to get to meet their favorite players, their idols. Something too that I think you often forget about when you're a college athlete are all the young eyes that are on you, watching every single thing that they do, truly looking up to these young athletes for all the hard work that they put in on and off the field.
Well, you too know that they went through probably a similar process that these youngsters are going through. They're getting a chance to play travel ball and understanding what it's like to compete and with the team and wanting to get better. And you dream of playing on a stage like this and even greater.
And honestly, I feel like the players almost feel more accessible in today's age just because you can watch them all the time on television. You take this tournament just in itself, all 40 games on ESPN platforms. You can pull it up on your phone, your tablet, your iPad. Even while you're here watching one game, you can always have eyes on another game.
I think we have some travel teams in the stands. It's the weekend, baby, and
They're scouting out their spot maybe on the field in the future. They want to compete out here.
I love the serious look too, though. Like, you know, you can walk around any ballpark and you just know the ballers.
That would be me with the serious face. That's me watching a softball game right there. Tuned in.
The 1-2 count to Janelle Mionio, the 9th spot hitter. Mionio with some speed in the bottom of the lineup.
Led the Pac-12 in batting average her freshman year. Battled through some injuries last season with Arizona, but you know she brings that speed, almost a second leadoff batter in that 9th spot to turn the lineup over for some of the power hitters right at the top of the lineup.
And waiting on that one, nabbed out of the air by Mac Leonard. Feel your position, girl.
Makes it look so easy. She's used to it. She's used to the hot shots off the bat, coming down to first base, and the quick snag of the backhand. I love to, got to give the shortstop some love. Josie Muffley was right there ready to field that ball. I think if that ball gets past Mac Leonard even, Josie Muffley is still there to make the play. Oh, I love me some defense. Love it.
Thank you to our wonderful production crew for
I know you guys are going to get me
giving
on
America
camera.
what they want.
I forget. I get so excited watching everybody compete out here. I mean, how can you not just love every single bit of this invitational? There's your dance moves right there, Tiffany. I know you've been waiting for them.
I have been, and I'm waiting on yours too. Don't worry.
They dance a lot better than I do.
What did we learn? It's a participation sport, right? It's a team effort. Back to the top with Savannah Pola. Pola, who is kind of hitting 7 of the 9 games so far this season, but she's reached base safely in all so far.
Pola's just a batter that is really consistent to all fields and is consistent no matter what type of competition that she's playing. Started off yesterday's ball game against Montana Fouts with a nice base hit out to left field to start that first inning rally that ended up leading to the Jordan Woolery Grand Slam.
Pola swings through that one, 1-2 now to the leadoff. Mac Leonard, remember her longest start of the season was being shocked as the Seminoles were last weekend in their own tournament against Longwood, but already matching what she did last week and perhaps powered and propelled to do more. The pitch. Leonard looking in, lets it go. Over to Pola, or rather Bethany Keene, and Pola grounds out to Keene. Nice little fielding on the short. And sunny Florida, great place to be. Anytime you're by the water, it's always a good day.
Let's take a look at today's performance update prepared by TaxAct. And it's Jordan Campbell going yard off of Kelly Maxwell, a solo shot to put the Raging Cajuns up in the bottom of the second, up 1-0 on Oklahoma State.
That quad box to catch you up on all really quickly. Duke ahead of UCF, and still scoreless between South Florida and Texas A&M. Meanwhile, in our game, it's the Florida State Seminoles on top 2-0, and still a lot of time to catch up, but more balls have to fly out of the yard if they even want to think about catching the 41 home runs for yesterday.
All I know is the race of home runs per field, we are definitely winning over here on field 8 with 20 home runs already.
Packed house. And we saw the line to get inside here. Swing and a miss. Michaela Edenfield with the very fly eye design we peeped earlier. Yes, Coast Guard plane flying there. Yeah. You're so quick. Yes.
I'll try. You keep me on my toes up here.
The 1-2 from Faremo. For Edenfield, do you notice after the pitches she kind of pushes that left hand out a little bit? What is that?
It's almost a little bit of self-talk, almost reassuring herself that, hey, that's an outside pitch. And just how quickly she's able to make that reaction with her hand just tells you how good she's seeing the ball up at the plate, too.
Going up and chasing that one out of the zone. And second strikeout for Faremo.
Edenfield's had some really good takes outside, but trying to go after some of these rise balls up and in. It's a perfect location. If you're going to use that rise ball against a power hitter like Edenfield, you have to get it high and tight on the hands. If that ball leaks back over the plate, those are the ones that we see end up on the beach. So that's a good location, being able to get that big swing and miss there.
So take me through the hitter's mindset. You adjusted from Taylor Tinsley to Lauren Shaw only for one batter, and then Megan Faremo. Anything you've taken away from, especially the left side of the plate, anybody?
Faremo is a challenge, too, because she changes so many speeds. And I think as a batter, you've got to go up there and you've got to attack one speed. Are you going to go after the hard stuff? Are you going to try to get on top of a rise ball? Or are you going to go up there and you're going to sit something slow, that 56 miles per hour? 52 mile per hour pitch. You have to pick one. It's really hard to, almost impossible to be on time for both. So I think that's a plan for a lot of offenses these days, is to attack these pitchers with a certain speed that they're looking for in their at-bats.
Here's the deal about this Florida State lineup. Again, what we've seen from them over the last couple of days, they can spell out attack. A-T-T-A-C-K. They go after it, but right there, it's Faremo who's been attacking from the circle since she's come in.
Really, it's the consistency over the past couple of games for Florida State. The similar batting averages, 9 hits apiece. Of the 4 home runs in yesterday's ball game stands out. But I thought they did a nice job at starting this tournament off with being aggressive early in the count, being selective on pitches out of the zone, and hunting a specific pitch. And that just comes down to being able to execute a game plan. And we talked about with the several different arms that they've seen, how quickly are they going to be able to shift those game plans to Megan Faremo in the circle. But you've also got to remember that while they're working on a game plan, Faremo is as well, in this battery for UCLA, working together between Faremo and Palacios, always plotting to try to get these batters out.
Katie Dack. We had a bases loaded situation back in the first. Sharply hit line ball to second base to win the inning.
Another thing to note too, in the bottom of the third here, we're starting to see that low and outside pitch being called for a strike. We have not seen that pitch called yet for any of the other pitchers, but now Faremo has established that part of the zone that it's going to be called, and she's been taking advantage of it.
Tried to go back there again, just missing. Dack gathering herself and steps into the batter's box. The sophomore out of Parker, Colorado. And caught looking. 3 up, 3 down, but all by way of K.
Faremo hitting her spots every single time. That's what you want out of the veterans. Striking out Edenfield on the rise ball. Then it's Devin Flaherty looking. And how about 3 up, 3 down with the pulling the string on the change.
Storylines that we are following this season. Hey, we know her. Megan Faremo, seeing the reigning Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year. Talking about great arms, Elena Vaughter for the Stanford Cardinal. How about Arizona State defending Pac-12 champions, and Bailey Klingler, a player who has been in that Husky program for quite a while. She returns for a 5th year among those players to watch. Maya Brady says, hey, I want to be added to that list as well. But Allie Skaggs over at Arizona, and Vaughter, boy, what she did against Georgia already this weekend, coming up with a 3-1 win over the Bulldogs.
It's not easy to shut down that offense. Top to bottom, Georgia is just stacked, and Elena Vaughter is well known for going in there and shutting down good offenses. Just look at what Stanford did to Alabama in Tuscaloosa in the regional last year. The first time ever that Alabama did not advance to a super regional. Pac-12 going to be very tough yet again this season.
And Maya Brady sends this one opposite field, fly ball, and out number 1 into the glove of Waycaser. There's certainly a lot of great hope for Maya Brady in the season that she could potentially have this year. Megan Grant also going to be in the mix. Jordan Woolery, and we haven't even mentioned that Aaliyah Jordan, another powerful hitter, working to get back healthy. And we look to see her by the time Pac-12 season rolls around.
An unfortunate injury to her that she's battling back from. Hoping to be back this season, but you always see her in the dugout. She's got some sort of chart. She's always talking to the hitters, so she's staying engaged every single pitch of every single ball game so that she can be ready when her time comes.
Swung on by Grant and off the body of Flaherty, so Grant is aboard as she reaches on the error.
Let's take a look at today's Impact Players, brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater. And for me, when I look at Florida State, I love the way that the freshman McKenna Reed has been able to step up for them in the circle, put up great numbers against a good hitting Arkansas team yesterday. Would not be surprised if maybe we see her come into this ball game. But also for UCLA, it's Jordan Woolery, who we're seeing come up in this at-bat right now, that huge grand slam against Alabama that put them back ahead after UCLA fell behind 2-0 in the top of the first inning.
It was Woolery, part of that freshman phenom class, had 11 of the 13 RBI for the team yesterday, but you have to credit Mac Leonard and the job that she's done. Longest outing in just the second week of the season. And Alani Alameda making a defensive change as Kerr coming in to right field. So Dak comes out, Janai Kerr rather, trots in to right.
Florida State is known for their defensive shifts. They like to make those changes on defense too, bringing in somebody like Kerr, who's more of a defensive specialist, can cover a ton of ground over in right field. You can already see her kind of checking out to see where the sun's at. She's got her sunglasses out there, her visor, but also, you know, those outfielders are on the look for that wind too in the direction that it's blowing, because it's been making a difference so far this weekend. Looks like another shift too. Look at how far over Janai Kerr is, almost on that right field line, but even your center fielder, Kaylee Mudge, shifted over towards the right side, an indication that maybe they're gonna try to pump some pitches outside to Woolery.
And she hits it to the right side of the field over, and the double play is turned. So Flaherty makes up for the miscue earlier, and she gets a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning, and Mac Leonard is seeing her defense and teammates backing her up.
Love it when a plan comes together. You want to funnel that ground ball to the right side. Flaherty with the quick flip to Muffley. 4-6-3 ends the inning.
Welcome back to Clearwater. We move to the bottom of the fourth, joined now by the UCLA head coach, Kelly Unoy Perez. And coach, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. So far, Mac Leonard has kept your hitters kind of guessing. What do you have to do to get a little jump start in that offense?
You know, it's the game. We got to make an adjustment. You know, we got a little rally there. Megan hit the ball hard and kind of got rally killed there. But I have great faith. You know, we practice this. We got to figure out a way to make an adjustment. She's throwing it down. She's got a low strike zone today, so it's a challenge. And I believe we'll do everything we can to make that adjustment.
And Coach, one of the great things about this tournament is being able to throw your team into the fire, so to speak. What are you liking out of your new faces, some of your freshmen that you're seeing so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly why we came here. We came here to play on a stage, learn a lot about ourselves. You know, there's big moments. And, you know, I think the biggest thing that I told them, as long as they go for it, you know, we're going to learn about ourselves. But it's just the game. You know, I think the best part for us is we've got a good thing going. The freshmen are doing great things. You know, Megan comes in and does a great job of being able to have their back. But for us right now, we're learning a lot. It's February. It's early. We got to learn our lessons, enjoy being able to compete. And at the end of the day, we walk away a better team.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The ability to get that intel and go back and maybe look at some film, make some adjustments, not only in game, but throughout the season. What worked and who worked where and when is all helpful for coaching staff. And Megan Faramo, she mentioned liking the way that her senior has come in to this ball game, and well, she's been the dominant pitcher that we've known her to be.
Well, that's how you slam the door. You get 4 out of 5 strikeouts in the first couple of batters that you face. Really never letting Florida State get comfortable in the box, swinging at pitches out of the zone, watching some strike threes go by too, but it's her changing of speeds that has just taken her to a whole other level. Waycaser taking a couple of steps out of the box, almost to regroup after swinging at that rise ball over her head.
And Waycaser going up and chasing. She retired. She's sitting down, rather. All right, let's take a look at what's happening on another one of the fields. Oklahoma State with the bases loaded, trying to come back from a 2-0 deficit in the third against Louisiana. How about the Cowgirls, the start they've had in this tournament? And who's that? Kylie Naomi at the plate. Uh-oh. We saw her over here yesterday.
One of the hot bats for Oklahoma State, had 2 home runs in our ball game. A veteran in that lineup too. Need her to come through in this clutch situation.
Wait a minute. She sends it into the outfield, and no, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh, my. Grand slam. You just saw it right here. You probably are watching it also on ESPN Plus if you're a Cowgirl fan, but for those tuning in to Florida State UCLA, that just happened.
We were just talking about the home run she hit yesterday. She is feeling so good. And Coach Gajewski said she had some really good at-bats last weekend in their opening weekend in Mexico. Maybe didn't get the results that she wanted, but was sticking to the game plan. And this weekend, you're seeing all that hard work really pay off for Kylie Naomi.
A group who's made 3 consecutive trips to the Women's College World Series. The Big 12 and the Pac-12 well represented in OKC last year. They were 6 of the 8-team field at USA Hall of Fame Stadium. UCLA, of course, among them as well.
Can we give a shout out to our crew for that perfectly timed 2-box? Love to see it.
Gotta love it when a plan comes together. Well, all teams, though, chasing Oklahoma, the Sooners, back-to-back champions on the quest for a three-peat. We may very see one of the teams going to give them a run for their money as Faremo with another strikeout. And she has just come in and taken over and settled down this Bruins team.
Was that 6 strikeouts in a row, too? All on different pitches. That's what I really like. Some of them are on the off-speed pitch. Some of them rise balls over her head. But she is locked in every pitch. You can tell that the rest of the defense is feeding off of it, too.
I think back to a couple of Junes ago at that broken hand going into the Women's College World Series, and that was a really tough break for the Bruins, but she came back last year, took one of the mindsets of the great Kobe Bryant, that Mamba mentality, and it served her well.
Right now, the defense hasn't had to do much with Faremo in the circle, but you could see, especially the corners, they were really respecting the fact that Josie Muffley has a ton of speed up at the plate, can drop a bunt at any time, and even still, you're seeing Jordan Woolery playing pretty far up the baseline, even though Muffley has 2 strikes on her.
Faremo wanted that. Bruins fans did as well. Fouled off by Muffley. You talk about just respecting the Florida State hitters. That is what's so good about this lineup year in and year out, is that they keep you on your toes.
And it's not just all about batting average for them. They're just trying to find ways to manufacture runs.
Trying to get the hit off of Faremo, not able to do so in another 1, 2, 3 innings. So Faremo now looking to see if the offense can get it going.
Let's take a look in on what's happening on the other fields. It's Rylan Wiggins for Texas A&M, blasting that one way over that left field wall. I'm telling you right now, Tiffany, watch out for those Aggies this season. And how about another Anna Gold highlight? We can pretty much make an entire highlight reel of her plays at third base just from this tournament alone. So good, moving to her right side, just breaking hearts, stealing base hits from people.
Just money. Gold, give me more of that. We'll see if, something happens. Just like Kylie Naomi with that, grand slam, we were hoping to see a little bit more magic there, but certainly some fantastic plays being made throughout. And an outstanding outing for Mac Leonard. Coming in relief now is Emma Wilson. Emma Wilson, the senior out of Dallas, Georgia, coming in to try to preserve this 2-run lead.
Wilson's going to come in here and be just a different look than what we saw out of Mac Leonard. We saw Mac Leonard like to throw the ball down in the zone, really working the drop. Now she's working over at first base, but Wilson, more upspin.
And just the second base hit. This one off the bat of Charlize Palacios. And the stand-up double to lead off the fifth.
UCLA was having a hard time getting their barrels underneath the drop balls. This pitch is really low, not a bad pitch, right at the knees, even a bit below that. But Palacios dropping the barrel underneath, driving it out to left center to get things going for the Bruins here in the top of the fifth.
We're quickly pulling the string on Wilson, and Allison Royalty will come in as the new pitcher. But let's go back and focus on Mac Leonard. That was the longest outing of her career as a starter at Florida State. And so she only gave up 1 hit and no runs to UCLA. So credit her for the outstanding morning that she had. Only 40 pitches thrown.
And I really like that she didn't give up any free passes. It's the 0 walks. She was attacking the strike zone, working that drop down in the zone, showing off some good defense too. We see it over at first base, but how about in the pitcher's circle too? A couple of ground balls right back to her, those quick reactions, snagging it, stealing away hits. But I loved her composure in the circle too, being able to bounce back from maybe a not so good outing yesterday, but came out and did fantastic against the Bruins to start off this ball game.
She moves to first base as Allison Royalty coming over from the Pac-12, so the Bruins very familiar with her as Royalty was with Arizona State last season.
Royalty is going to come in and just bring that gutsy warrior mentality. 63, 64 miles per hour, good rise ball changeup combination. She's been working on that drop ball to bring a different eye level. But here you're just trying to get those ground ball outs. Don't try to overthrow it. Sometimes when pitchers try to blow it past people, that's when you lose your spin, you lose your movement. You have to trust in that spin to be able to get some outs. Trust in that defense behind you, especially going up against this tough Bruins offense.
UCLA dugout remaining loose. The Florida State group is just trying to be focused on getting out of this inning. You feel like this is just a pivotal moment in the game for both teams. Florida State trying to hold on to that shutout over the Bruins through 4.
Couple of quick hooks we've seen for the pitchers too in this ball game. Maybe these coaches trying to play some matchups with the arms in the circle.
Again, wanting to see how someone performs in certain situations in addition to your matchup approach. And Reed, who she was fantastic yesterday. Really enjoyed watching that freshman. She's getting ready in the bullpen if needed for Florida State.
And she kept consistent velocity too. I think that's something that's a key to her success. Coming from the left side, a lot of upspin as well, but she kept it in the upper 60s throughout her entire appearance.
Three balls consecutively out of the hands of Allison Royalty to Kennedy Powell. Royalty faced the Bruins last year through 3 2/3 inning. Gave up 5 hits and an earned run in her lone appearance. Gets that one in there for a strike. Good pitch. Ball 4. Kennedy Powell down to first. So 2 on, no outs for the Bruins. While we have the time, we'll let you know that another great Sonic blockbuster matchup coming your way as 9th-ranked Baylor heading to Lawrence to take on the 5th-ranked Jayhawks. That's Coming up at 4 over on ESPN, followed by Duke Syracuse, the big matchup of the ACC. That's at 6 o'clock. You can also catch it over on the ESPN app. But you'll probably be tuned in to softball all day. As Seneca Cora lays down the sacrifice bunt, does her job, advances the runners now to second and third.
Perfectly executed sacrifice bunt, and I love how you see how excited the rest of her Bruin teammates get when she's able to put that ball down into fair territory, advance both of those runners, and now so many different options and ways that you can score these batters now that you've got a runner moved over to third base. It looks like UCLA is going to bring in a pinch hitter to face Allison Royalty.
Ramsey Suarez, the freshman, Temecula, California. We'll see if she can bring across the first Bruin runner runs of the day.
She's had a couple of pinch hit opportunities throughout this season. I think that's something that's so important to practice in February. Not an easy job to be able to come off the bench. You have to be ready at all times. I think back to Georgia a few years ago, it was Kylie Pualoa. Throughout the year, Coach Lou Harris-Champer just kept putting her in pinch hitting situations, just random ones to prepare her for that moment in Super Regionals where she came up with the big walk-off home run to send Georgia to the World Series.
And it's those type of special moments that you think back to and remember and say, gosh, this is a great game.
Tiffany, I feel like we felt that way for a lot of the games that we've seen here. Some really close games, a lot of high-scoring ones. This one a bit different. Pitchers have been shutting it down.
Well, yesterday was definitely the day for the hitters. But perhaps setting the tone a little differently as we've seen staffs being used. 3 different pitchers from each side try to get it done, but low-scoring affair here from Clearwater, and catching the pinch hitter Suarez, looking royalty with her first K.
It's that low and outside corner that sometimes we see called, other times we haven't. But I like that the pitchers keep going back to it. And this one could not have come at a better time for the Florida State Seminoles. Ramsey can't believe it. Sometimes it can be frustrating, but you just have to roll with the punches, pass that bat along, and see if your teammate can get the job done with 2 runners in scoring position.
Big out for Allison Royalty and her Seminoles. Janelle Mionio still with an opportunity. The chopper charging in is Muffley and gets Mionio in time. Allison Royalty coming in, and the defense has been helping out the effort of the arms in the circle. We'll talk to their head coach, Lonnie Alameda, after the break. Welcome back to the 2023 TaxAct Clearwater Invitational presented by Evo Shield. Madison Shipman, Tiffany Green here with you. Bottom half of the hour. Florida State holding on to a 2-0 lead. Their head coach, Lonnie Alameda, joining us now. And coach, your assessment of the way both your pitching staff and the way their defense has been in sync in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the season, but we're big fans of trying to pitch to defense and trying to get the most we can out of all of our pitchers. It's a long season, so if we can't get them in moments here to grow and then our defense to know what they do. So really proud of them for sure. It's a lot of fun in these moments.
And Coach, when I think of the word consistency, somebody like Kaylee Mudge is a player that comes to mind. What is it that she brings to the field every single day?
I mean, I always tell the story of Mudge. She used to come to camps. Like, she would leave camp and she'd be like, man, like, what can I do better? And then this is like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. And she just always took the challenge of like, can I get my throwing better? Can I make my angles better? Can I bunt better? Like, she's always had that mindset. And so, I mean, she's an academic whiz and she's also a softball whiz. And she's just, she's pure joy. She's a lot of fun.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Kaylee Mudge sounds a lot like you, Madison Shipman.
I just love that mentality that she's bringing, always working to get better. And you're seeing it pay off, too, having a fantastic game already going up against UCLA, trying to see if she can start a rally for her team. They're very much in this ball game, and this is the part of the lineup that you want up to get something going.
Doubled first time up, RBI single to put up the second run for Florida State. You think about all those moments of consistency, and you travel back a couple years ago to Women's College World Series, and the consistency of hits had a Women's College World Series record of 14 hits.
It's hard enough to get to the World Series. It's hard enough just to get a couple of hits, let alone 14 hits. For Kaylee Mudge, just blasted onto the scene. I think that story of that 2021 Florida State team is great. When you looked at their numbers, top to bottom, offensively, nothing's really going to jump off the page at you, but they just found a way to win. They were gritty, they were competitive, they were feisty. Some games it was going to be via the long ball, other games stringing together a bunch of quality at-bats.
But Mudge, first time facing Faremo, and Faremo wins that battle. Well, we have a really good afternoon of college basketball Sunday, a doubleheader. Rivalry season, UNC versus 23rd ranked NC State, then Memphis and Houston out of the American. Coming down towards the end of the regular season. You can catch it also on the ESPN app.
That's strikeouts on the last 18 batters faced. And just so focused, laser focused every pitch. I think it's important to note too that this battery is calling their own games. Charlize Palacios is back there calling the pitches. They're working together.
And Mac Leonard gets a hold of that one, allowed out to right. And quickly 2 away.
One thing that I thought was interesting from a lot of our coaches' calls too is there's a couple of coaches here that are trying to get back to that style of play where the catchers are the ones calling the ball game, reading what they're seeing from the hitters, but also paying attention to what they're seeing from their own pitchers, what they saw in warm-ups in the bullpen, feeding off of that fiery mentality that Lisa Fernandez brings to this pitching staff each and every day.
And I like that too, because it just keeps the players engaged and constantly thinking and processing. You know, we heard Hannah Campbell talking about how she was standing at third base. She didn't want to get bored anymore, so she moved behind the plate, the Arkansas catcher now. And so being able to call the game and actively involved in every pitch.
I also think it can help you from a hitting perspective too, because you're putting your mind into the mind of a pitcher and how they would want to attack certain batters to get them out, and you can use that to your advantage when you step into the box. Kind of use the clues of the pitches that they've thrown before to anticipate what sort of pitches they're going to throw next.
Faremo ahead 0-2 and going chasing upstairs, and three straight innings of retiring the side. 1, 2, 3, UCLA up to bat when we return. big time matchup. Florida State and Alabama take the field tomorrow here at 5 p.m. on ESPN. And announcing that the Seminoles will return. We mentioned UCLA was going to be back, so you think about perennial powers and blue bloods, and they find their way to Clearwater in February.
I'm still excited about this year, and now I'm getting even more excited about next year. It's all about these top 10 matchups. Love to see Florida State and UCLA returning. I love that I don't even know the rest of the teams. I'm just getting excited every time I see these pop up.
We talked Oklahoma State is coming back as well, and the full field of 16 will be revealed tomorrow during that Bama-Florida State game. Top of the order for UCLA and a new pitcher for Florida State, the fourth used today for the Noles. But freshman McKenna Reed, can she follow up what she did yesterday?
Been so impressed with what we've seen from her in the circle, coming from the left side. Really good velocity, 68, 70 miles per hour. She's got good spin and late movement on that rise ball that she brings in. She's going to mix in the curveball too, but let's take a look at what she did in yesterday's ball game. Going up against the Arkansas Razorbacks, you can see the late jump on the rise, bringing it a little lower into the zone, but mixing her locations, especially away from those lefty batters, just kept them guessing all game long. So composed for just a freshman. She did not perform like a freshman yesterday.
10 strikeouts in total over the weekend. And one hit off the arm of the freshman. You see those numbers against Arkansas yesterday. Nearly 20 swings and misses on 48 of her pitches in that one. Got a piece of Savannah Pola as she came around. Popped up and just behind us. Great catch by the fan in the stands and quickly tossing it back, but that was like a little can of corn for him.
A soft touch too. Look at, he's even coaching up some of the other fans. This is what you got to do if you want to make catches up here. Stepping up his game. You're going to see us reaching out. I was trying to make a snag there. Look at even Tiffany's reaching out. We tried to rob him.
And great piece of hitting there, reaching safely in every game this season. Savannah Pola on the 1-2 count just dumps it opposite field.
She knows she's going to attack with the rise ball up in the zone. Goes to the slap here. I like this adjustment in the box within the at-bat. She's constantly learning, what can I do to get on base? Goes to that slap game, just plops it down into left field to try to get a rally started for her Bruins in the top of the sixth.
And there's Catherine Sandercock, the ace arm of the Seminoles. Gonna get warm if needed. She came in for the save yesterday against Arkansas. And Maya Brady steps up to the plate, searching for her first RBI of the season. 3 for 9 this weekend. And that's Kelly Gooden, the pinch runner over at first base. Gooden, long time in this program. Brady giving chase to that one, up and in. No balls and 2 strikes.
I can Made some more defensive changes for Florida State. We're seeing a lot of movement in the outfield. Autumn Belvi coming in to play center field, so that's going to move Kaylee Mudge over to left field. They like to do that. They like to play those matchups. And we're seeing another shift on the infield, too, on an 0-2 count to Maya Brady. Even the entire infield has shifted more towards the left side. You can see where Devin Flaherty is playing up the middle, close towards second base. It's always interesting to see how these teams like to play these shifts, especially going up against somebody like Maya Brady who has power to all fields. Do you limit your pitcher to just throwing to one side of the plate, or do you still mix both sides of the plate even though you know that your defense has shifted more towards one direction?
Coming inside and backing Brady off the plate a little bit. Well, something that McKenna Reed has done well thus far this season, especially against left-handed hitters. She's been able to fan 7 in the process, and so ahead in the count here to Brady. We'll see what she likes to deal here.
And they're still working Brady inside. Both pitches now back-to-back. Rise balls inside.
And Leah Jordan still bouncing back from injury. You see coaching up her teammate Megan Grant, the freshman, on deck. Brady pulling that one foul. Remember, she had a Super Sunday during Super Bowl 57. She went crazy, knocking out balls left and right out of the park, and so Maya Brady fully capable.
That Sunday was during that stretch of her 10 consecutive hits that she got in a row. It's so impressive with what she's been able to bring to this squad this season. That mentality and her approach to her at-bats.
Brady lifts this one, and it's going to drop. Blooper in the right field. So a couple of hits on 1-2 counts for the Bruins batters, and they are threatening.
Of course, as a defense, you want every single ball up in the air to be caught, but sometimes you just get beat. And this one drops in no man's land. Look how far Mac Leonard runs out into the outfield to make a play on it. Janai Kerr was playing back, respecting the power that Maya Brady has, and it just falls in front, and now 2 runners on board in the top of the 6th for the Bruins. For the freshman, a big spot for her.
Grant sees strike 1. You think back to last season, UCLA was only shut out 4 times throughout the 2022 campaign. A couple times against Stanford, once against Utah, and of course in the Women's College World Series, game 1 against Oklahoma. They're used to doing the shutting out.
Especially with all those arms in the circle. But a good opportunity for them here to see if they can get something on the board. But Reed working again ahead in the count. We still see Catherine Sandercock getting loose down in the bullpen.
And gets the strikeout. Big one there from Reed, and she likes it.
Look at that emotion in that fire. Big strikeout. She knows how huge that pitch was. Look at the late movement on it, too. Not only is it working up in the zone, but also away from the lefty. I like how she starts it almost in that left-handed batter's box. So these lefties are taking swings, and it's ending up back more over the plate. It's that high spin rate. And we talked to Coach Alameda about that. She really loved out of the freshman in the fall of what she was able to show in the bullpens, and now we're just seeing that here in the ball games against some of the top competition in the country. She's really stepping up.
Well, she is rising to the moment so far this weekend. And Coach Alameda now bringing in the entire infield, understanding what the situation is, because the top half is very chunky for this UCLA lineup. And Sandra Koch is ready and on standby if needed. And she's walking back to the bullpen, and Alameda trusting the freshman.
This is big-time softball right here, Tiffany. I just got chills when you just saw the whole crowd stand up and start cheering. Freshmen in the circle, freshmen up at the plate. Who is going to win this battle?
Fouled off, 1 ball, 1 strike. Go to the city of Clearwater. Maybe let's add some extra stands like they do at USA Hall of Fame Stadium, and, you know, second level. Pack some more folks inside here. Standing room only. Top 10 matchup on your screen. Opposite field foul ball. Back-to-back swings from Jordan Woolery.
You can see Woolery nodding her head after these foul balls too. She's liking these swings. Seems like she's seen the ball pretty well out of the hand of Reed. We mentioned that rise ball, how it likes to tail inside to the righties, away from the lefties.
Encouraging numbers early on in this season for McKenna Reed with runners in scoring position. And again, you talked about stepping up in the moments when needed. And Woolery is able to get it to drop down, and they say it is foul. Just down the right field line, and Kelly I coming out to just have a quick conversation with the home plate umpire. That says it right there, because that was a moment she had gone opposite field a couple of times, and even when we look at the defense and how they're lined up and shifted to the right with Woolery, they were anticipating this.
See how close this one is down the right field line.
Ooh,
just barely foul.
Yeah, great call.
Love that view from our camera crew, always working hard. Maybe just a couple of inches foul, so close.
They do it again. Woolery continuing to reassure herself. Did some good swings.
It's the first pitch in this at-bat that they've tried to work inside. Everything else has been away, away, away. The entire outfield shifted towards the right field line. I don't think Janai Kerr can get any closer to that right field line. She is planted right on it.
Going upstairs again, now full count. And dangerous situation here for Reed, consider this. If you happen to walk Woolery, you have Charlize Palacios on deck. We told you coming in, she likes it when runners are in scoring position. She thrives in those situations. Not chasing, bases loaded. Woolery pumped up, and time called in the infield as Michaela Enfield and the entire Knowles infield going into the circle, and Lonnie Alameda gonna have a change in the circle, we assume, with Catherine Sandercock standing by in the dugout. So they'll call on the All-American arm of Sandercock to come in and try to get out of this jam with one out. Welcome back to the 2023 TaxAct Clearwater Invitational presented by Evo Shield. Throwback type of softball game between top 10 teams, and Catherine Sandercock coming in a tough spot, but the drama continues to build.
This is what she did back against Arizona, really mixing the ball well all throughout the strike zone. She's going to work all 4 quadrants, but I like the upspin. This is a pitch that she's been working on developing. You mix that in with some of the pitches lower in the zone, off-speed pitches. That's what makes her so good in the circle, her ability to throw a whole bunch of different pitches with great command. She's still got that good velocity, 66 to 69 miles per hour, but she really worked in the weight room in the offseason. That way, she was just as strong in February as she's going to be in June, because they are looking down the stretch of the postseason. They want to make a deeper run, but they've got to get past these Bruins. They're finding themselves in a really tough position here in the top of the 6th inning. UCLA's been able to string together quality at-bats so far.
In the dugout for UCLA, keeping things loose. Woolery with that good AB to draw the walk, to load the bases. Sandercock comes in, having inherited runners already this season, hasn't given up a run in this situation. Charlize Palacios standing in at the plate. First pitch swinging, and it's foul. Palacios, who doubled off of Emma Wilson back in the 5th. Up and underneath it in foul territory is Mac Leonard, and a huge out there for the Seminoles.
UCLA having to change their game plan. Of course, with Reed, you saw it up in the zone. Now with Sandercock, she's going to bring it more down in the zone. Works the drop balls, both of them inside to Palacios. It jams her up for a huge out number 2.
Kennedy Powell awaits the delivery from Sandercock. And we mentioned when you bring in a pitcher like Catherine Sandercock, yes, we know the stuff that she has, but also she makes you play at her pace, a lot more deliberate in the circle, and so it kind of maybe fizzles out, or tries to at least, some of that momentum.
I don't know, with that extra time, Tiffany, UCLA might take some more time to get some more cheers going in the dugout. They have had such high energy, really high energy from both sides, but the coordinated cheers coming from UCLA have been nonstop all game.
Seminoles fans on edge, hoping their team can get out of the inning, holding on to the lead.
Take a look at what the offense has done today. Of course, no runs on the board yet, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts. It's the 3 left on base, though. They've had some opportunities and none bigger than right here.
Moments throughout this week, it just keep feeling bigger and bigger and bigger, right? we saw a couple of close ball games yesterday. Florida State able to inch it out against Arkansas. Same thing with Oklahoma State over Virginia Tech. But edge of your seat type viewing.
Nice block by Edenfield back there. Keeping the drop ball in front. You know, Kelly Gooden's just waiting for any opportunity for that ball to skip away to try to score. A lot of speed over at third base.
Three balls and a strike. 2 outs, bases loaded. The Bruins batter, Kennedy Powell, is jacked after that one because that pushes across the first run for the Bruins. That spoils the shutout for the Noles pitching staff, and still bases loaded.
These at-bats by the freshman in the UCLA lineup. Not putting a ball in play, but battling, working their way on base via the walk. And that one, an RBI. You could see just how excited Kennedy Powell was as she ran down that first baseline.
Another great start to the morning here in Clearwater, just past the noon hour Eastern time, and this one gets past the third base bag. 1 run in, another comes in to score. Seneca Cora clears the bases. That allows the dugout and the Bruins fans to erupt. First season in a starter role after being a reserve last year, and comes up in a clutch moment.
There's no doubt about it that hitting is contagious. The freshman having great at-bats, getting on base via the walk, and then it's Seneca Curro that comes up with the big hit down the left field line. A 68-mile-per-hour drop up in the zone that she just tattoos. Every single pitch that's been thrown in this inning, you could feel the momentum and the energy rising from that UCLA dugout, taking full advantage of every opportunity they've been given.
Wow. The moments you come to Clearwater for, the moments that prepare you for mayhem. This is it, right here, February 18th, 2023. Half swing. Yeah, prime time matchup at like the noon hour.
And so many different names have been stepping up too. It's not just one person in this UCLA offense, but you look at somebody like a Seneca Curro, and Coach Inoue Perez had so many great things to say about the work that she's put in every single season, but approaching this year with so much confidence. And again, everything paying off right in that moment. Top 10 matchup. And Vine's trying to lay down a bunt. This really feels like in this inning, UCLA making the pitchers work every pitch. I think back to the beginning of this ball game, really quick outs. Mac Leonard, what a 7-pitch inning, and they've just continued to make the pitchers labor longer and longer out on the field.
You said strike. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. What is the call? You said strike, right? Did you say strike? You lied.
The Florida State coaching staff trying to get some clarification on what the call was from the home plate umpire. It allows the infield to assemble momentarily. And Ali Dubois, who we saw yesterday get a start. Got some action down in the bullpen. Not much doing for the Bruins. First time through the lineup this inning, though. They found success in the timely situation to erase the goose egg off the board and put up 4 runs on 3 hits. Walked across the first one, and Anna Vines into left field, and the play made from Kaylee Mudge. Good leather flashed in left. And now, with UCLA on top after this.
It's the freshman stepping up for UCLA. It started off with the walk by Jordan Woolery, followed up by the RBI walk by Kennedy Powell, and then the big blast by Seneca Kuro down the line to give UCLA the 4-2 lead. Let's take a look at today's performance update prepared by TaxAct, and it's Megan Faramo coming in relief in the circle for the UCLA Bruins and shutting them down, moving the ball so well throughout the strike zone, working those off-speed pitches, so well known for that elite rise ball, but it's her composure, her experience, that veteran mentality and fire that she has brought to the UCLA Bruins today.
And the command that she's come back with has really given this group a confidence, and you felt that shift once she came in and took over the ball game for the Circle.
I think one thing, too, we haven't talked about, I've got to imagine that the confidence she brings in the Circle has to give a lot of these underclassmen, these freshmen, confidence that they can go up there, play free, up at the plate, get the job done, because they know they have somebody like Megan Faramo in the Circle holding it down.
That's a great point in terms of the example that she sets, and, you know, watching what she does, just like you were talking about, the young fans learning what to do in the pressure-packed moments.
And you think back to Megan Faramo was able to learn from somebody like Rachel Garcia and the competitive spirit that she brought to the field. We've mentioned it a couple of times, but Lisa Fernandez, one of the best to ever play the game. Makes those bullpens really challenging, really competitive, because that's the type of mentality that she wants to see out of her pitchers, the type of pitchers that step up in the biggest moments in the game.
4, 5, 6 due up in Eden Field to start things off. 2 balls and a strike to the catcher. And this is what makes both of these programs so successful, is the fact that they can find themselves down, but you never sense a panic on either side. No moment is too big. Been there, done that. We just play our game.
Yeah, I think they just have confidence in the fact that they can find a way to win ball games. They've been through these sorts of challenges. They put themselves into this position playing top teams early in the season, so that way they don't hit the panic button down the stretch. Both of these coaches very intentional with how they work every single day at practice, even all the way back to day one in the fall. Everything they do has a purpose to prepare their team as best as they can for the season.
Let's check in over on the other field, Oklahoma State, another bases loaded situation. In the top of the fifth, they already have a 7-2 advantage over Louisiana. You can find that game over on ESPN+. Wait a minute, is that another grand slam? No, wait a minute, hold on, come on, you gotta be kidding me. Oh my goodness.
Do you think these Oklahoma State batters know we have them on a 2-box with the bases loaded? How about Morgan Wynn?
Every time there's a bases loaded situation today, partner, I feel like we should just always go to a 2-box.
I love it. An 0-2 count for Morgan Wynn. Rise ball. Oh, I love to see the home runs on that rise ball.
Unreal. Kenny Gajewski's group has really been striking the ball well. You think about, like, the opening day, they put up 10 and shut out Nebraska. Then yesterday on this field, another 10 spot over Virginia Tech. And now with 11 runs today.
We've seen a little bit of everything that gets me fired up here in the booth. Great defense. But when you go yard on a rise ball up at your eyeballs, that's what I'm talking about. You might swing and miss every once in a while, but when you make contact, they're going a long way.
Devin Flaherty lines out to center field. And the runner slides back into first base. That's Amaya Ross over at first after the Edenfield walk.
Flaherty hit that one right on the nose, perfectly timed up for that pitch. Just happened to go right to Maya Brady in center field.
Katie Dackley enters the ball game. Starting out this game in right field. Katie Dack. This season we saw her launch a home run out already, 3 on the season. We mentioned the top RBI producer so far for the Seminoles. Those are our numbers for the weekend. And Dack looks at a ball outside. The pitch.
It's that low and outside location. This inning, not seeing it called for a strike. We've seen it called for a strike a couple of times in this game. It's just the nature of the game. You have to adjust, whether you're a batter, a pitcher. Sometimes that's going to happen, but it's all about how you respond.
That one in there for a strike to Dack. Katie Dack, who's been a nice fit into the system thus far. Was previously recruited by Florida State. Coming over from Texas A&M, and so now 3 balls and a strike to the sophomore transfer. That one called for a strike, and Amaya Ross moves into scoring position. Stolen base for the pinch runner Ross.
Ross has great speed on the base paths. It's an off-speed pitch out of the hand of Faremo too. Just barely got in there in time.
Faremo calling time. And she and Palacios reset. Not chasing. And Dak draws the walk. So 2 walks, the first 2 given up by Faremo. As we remind you that big time matchup out of the Pac-12 coming your way from Maples Pavilion. UCLA and Kelly Close's crew going off against the Hall of Fame coach Tara Vanderbilt in her third year in her third-ranked Stanford Cardinal. Right on ESPN2. You can also see that on the ESPN app. That's at 9 o'clock. Bottom half of the order, Wade Kaser stepping in, grounded out, and struck out on her first 2 at-bats. Wade Kaser, and this one just over the head down the first base line, and they're holding Ross to load the bases. Just a shallow hit ball into right field for Wade Kaser.
I was watching Amaya Ross rounding third base so hard, I thought for a second they were going to try to take a chance and score on this base hit out to right field by Hallie. Wade Kaser just drops over the head of Jordan Woolery to Anna Vines, the second baseman that picks it up, but look at how quickly she puts on the brakes. I don't know, that would have been a close one at the plate, but Amaya Ross does have some speed.
And the Noles applying pressure now and trying to have an answer after UCLA took their first lead of the game. They were shut out through 5 innings and put a 4 spot up in the top half of the 6th.
Interesting as Coach Lisa Fernandez was coming out to talk to Megan Faremo. Faremo almost put her hands on her chest like, that was my bad. Taking that ownership, maybe of those free passes, putting herself into this situation. Almost reminds me a bit of last year's World Series going up against Northwestern with the bases loaded, found herself in a 3-0 count, fought her way back, and got that iconic strikeout with the fist pump and the ponytail flying behind her. That's the type of energy that she needs to bring to this at-bat.
So Bethany Keene re-enters the ball game. Shoot comes up to bat. And so far in this ball game, 3 of the 5 hits have come from the left side for the Seminoles batters. The lefty Keene is locked in. She sees strike 1. Chasing that one out of the zone. No balls and 2 strikes. And 3 straight swings. And Bethany Keene is retired. Big out number 2 for Faremo and the Bruins.
It almost sounded like a little something extra on that rise ball coming in too. Great pitch location. You already saw Bethany Keene bite at the rise ball early in the at-bat, so she just kept working that part of the zone.
Christina Hartley, who was the defensive substitution. Excuse me, that's Josie Muffley. Muffley, who had the RBI single back in the second to bring home the Noles' first run. We saw Florida State induce a couple of pitching changes for the Bruins. 5 hits for the Noles, but 10 strikeouts, and most of them coming from Megan Faremo, and she came in that second inning. Nearly hit Muffley. Muffley hits that one foul, giving chase was Kelly Gooden, but it was out of play. You know, I think about the type of matchups that Florida State and UCLA have had over the years since this invitational started. Go back to the COVID season in 2020. This was the marquee matchup to close out the tournament. And Florida State was ranked number 5 at the time. Of course, UCLA in the top 10 as well, and Aaliyah Jordan coming through with that game-winning hit, or the go-ahead double rather, and they secured that win. A lot of special moments in the early season event here from Clearwater, and another one seemingly brewing right here. And Muffley coming through, delivering 1 run in, and it's a tie ball game. Are these Noles clutch or what?
All 4 runs on the board for the Seminoles have come off of the bat of Josie Muffley in that 9 spot. A 3-2 count, bases loaded, 2 away, and she steps up for her team. A pitch inside, just drops it over into center field. That's what I'm talking about. You have somebody like that comes through. You know that Megan Faremo in that situation is going to try to gas something by you, and she steps up. I love the emotion coming out of both sides of the field today. Got ourselves a ball game. I love to see it, Tiff. Love to see it.
That one right into the glove of Jordan Woolery, and that ends the inning. However, Florida State continuing to make it interesting. They tie up the ball game. We go to the 7th. Let's see what happens. Time now for today's Game Track, brought to you by Evo Shield, and tuning in at the right time. You know, sometimes things look good on paper, but this has played out to be an outstanding game. Top 10 matchup. Megan Faremo has come in and done an outstanding job, but Florida State able to get a couple of runs off of her. Mac Leonard, who started off the game in the circle for the Noles, also fantastic in her outing.
Yeah, they've made a couple of other pitching changes. Now we're seeing Catherine Sandercock in the circle for the Seminoles, but just really impressed with the way that Florida State has continued to chip away at this UCLA lead. Took advantage of some free passes that they were given by Megan Faremo, and then it's the 9 spot. Josie Muffley coming through yet again at that huge hit back in the 2nd inning, and when her team needed her to step up in the 6th, she gets it done to tie up this ball game.
Madison Shipman, Tiffany Green, we're delighted to have you with us. It was one of 4 games to start in the 10 o'clock hour, but I mean, you don't even need a cup of Joe. Like, this gives you all the energy, the caffeine, the boost that you need to get you through the rest of the day. You've got Virginia Tech, UCLA coming up later this afternoon over on ESPN. Of course, all games broadcasted on ESPN app. Here's a look at the schedule. We'll get a chance to see Arkansas back in action shortly against Indiana, and then they'll double it up with the Raging Cajuns later this afternoon. Alabama is taking the field, and how about Arizona, Virginia Tech? You catch that over on ESPN Plus. Arkansas is coming up next, ready to touch the field and bounce back after a surprising outing yesterday. They dropped one to Florida State to start their tournament or invitational, and then later that afternoon.
Another team that's just looking to try to fit the puzzle pieces together. They graduated a lot of their offense from last season, but they brought in some transfers that can really be big time for them this year between Kylie Halverson and Christina Foreman. I think are going to be a force along with players like Casey Hoffman and Hannah Gamble for that offense. It's just a matter of getting everybody firing on all cylinders.
And for all of, the big programs that we talk about and how successful teams have been, this is also a great learning ground for other teams like in Indiana coming out of the Big Ten. They're trying to just find ways to elevate within their conference, and you get the chance to do so when you face off against this level of competition.
And you build up that RPI and that strength of schedule too. You can't replace this experience for some of your younger players to be on this type of a big stage. And we mentioned going up against some of the best in the country. There's no amount of inter-squad scrimmages or practices that's going to replicate the type of energy that you're seeing here in Clearwater.
And this event gets you ready on the road to the Women's College World Series, all culminating in June. For OKC, Janelle Mionio sits down. Catherine Sandercock with a smile after the strikeout.
Like her going with this drop ball, starting it at the knees, and then it's dropping almost down to the dirt. Really good looking pitch, especially since Mionio's moving her way through the box as a slapper. And that's the way to set the tone in the top of the 7th inning after your team just tied up the ball game in the bottom of the 6th.
Savvy pull, a first pitch swinging through the 5-6 hole on with a 1-out base hit. Back-to-back singles for Savannah Pola.
Batter number 7, Maya Brady.
Sandercock to Brady.
Nice looking changeup to start off this at-bat.
A number of these players having an opportunity to compete with Team USA over the summer and different Japan All-Star Series games and just throughout the Team USA organization. And among the national team members, a few coming from the Bruins.
Get to learn from some of the best across the country too. I think those are the types of experiences that these players bring back to their teams. They learn how some other players go through their game, maybe their preparation, what they see in some other players. Those are all things that you can take back with you and share with your teammates. Nice job by Kyle Lepresti back behind the plate too. She's coming in to catch. Made a nice stop blocking that drop ball in front of her.
And Maya Brady on the 1-2 pitch in the right field, bounces to the fence, and Pola having to hold up. Strong throw from Katie Dack over to third base. But nice piece of hitting by Brady.
Yeah, pulling it to the right side. Got a bit jammed up, but she's still so strong. You can see where she starts in the batter's box, her toes right up on that chalk line, and she takes her barrel up to that pitch. Look at this throw from Katie Dack. I thought she was just gonna hit the cut and maybe kind of angle that throw more towards home plate, but she came firing across to third base, almost made it to third on the fly. Can be a bit of a dangerous throw, though. If that throw gets past your third baseman, Savvy Pola's going to score easily.
Megan Grant swings through that one. Trying to fire a warning shot, like, okay, I got a cannon out here. Beware.
Strong arm. I'm just surprised it wasn't going more towards home plate.
When Sandra Cox came in at last inning, she inherited some runners, and now you're seeing the nodding of the heads from a number of the players when they feel like they've got to beat, they've got to step, they've got a rhythm going. And Lisa Fernandez coming out to talk to Megan Grant.
I think she's just noticing a couple of uncharacteristic swings, swinging it at pitches that are nowhere near the strike zone. You can just tell that maybe the freshman is trying a bit too hard to hunt for a result, trying too hard to get a hit, and that's where you just need to refocus, take a moment, and just stick to the game plan, stick to the process. Of course, easier said than done, especially in a moment like this. But again, those learning experiences that we're talking about for some of these young players.
And the pitch. Wolf taking the advice, wisely doing so, scores a run. How about two? UCLA back on top. And Lisa Fernandez, did you see the little bump over at first base? Megan Grant, she was excited about that. She said, see, I told you, I got your back. We can make this work.
Now Coach Fernandez might just have to say that every single time Megan Grant comes to the plate. It's another rise ball up. I'm surprised they didn't try to get this pitch up even higher in the zone, especially with the ones that Megan Grant was swinging at earlier in the at-bat. This one about chest high, and she just smacks it out to right field. Doesn't try to do too much. Again, it's just those little things, those little tweaks that you can make within an at-bat. And the freshman getting the job done yet again for UCLA.
And another pitching change for the Seminoles as Maddie Balk comes in. We'll tell you more when we come back. Well, 7 innings couldn't decide it between UCF and Duke, all even at 3 apiece. So now the international tiebreak rules apply. Runner is placed on second base, and you see the wild pitch from the Blue Devils pitcher, and so the Knights now 60 feet closer to home.
And with that runner starting over on second base, you typically see batters turn to square to lay down a sacrifice bunt, and that wild pitch there makes that job easy. Moves that runner over to third base. Jada Cody up at the plate with an opportunity to put her team ahead, but we're going to see another freshman enter this ball game for the Florida State Seminoles, and Maddie Bonk in the circle. Coach Alameda told us all about her elite spin rate. Not going to blow it by you with that velocity, but just really relies on that late movement and that tight spin on its way into the batters. And that stip in, what it's going to do is it's going to make that pitch look like it's coming in a lot harder than it actually is.
It was Jordan Woolery's at bat that loaded the bases and got the rally going last inning for the Bruins. The team with the 2-run lead. And that energy has not subsided throughout this game. The Bruins have kept it going all throughout as Willery was hit by the pitch. But I gotta also say that I was impressed with Florida State and their fans because they had some game time chants that were going. I mean, there was a little back and forth action.
They were trying to match some of the cheers coming from the UCLA side.
Palacios 1 for 3 today with that double.
Nobody better start.
Trying to tack on some insurance for Ferrano for 1 with runners in scoring position today. One ball and 2 strikes to Palacios, and we saw him coming back from break. UCF in a tie ball game with Duke and the Knights, able to take a temporary lead 4-3 in extra innings.
I like the bite that Maddie Bonk is showing on this drop ball too. It's got good late movement on it, dropping about 10 to 12 inches it seems. Got Palacios to swing and miss earlier in this at-bat, goes back to it on the next pitch. Just a bit low for ball 2.
The grounder, batted down by the glove of Balk, but couldn't field it, and now bases loaded and 1 out.
Those ground balls right at the pitcher can be so tough because you have to react so quickly, but you know that's a ball that Maddie Bach wants back. That is an out that she can definitely make. Now the bases loaded, another tough position for this pitching staff for Florida State.
Rachel Sid, who came in as a defensive substitution last inning over at third base, now gets her first AB of the game.
Love that stat for the UCLA freshman too. 14 for 19 over the last 3 games. So many quality at-bats that those young players have been able to put together.
Sid chasing. She's behind. You mentioned Brooke Yanez coming over from Oregon. Rachel Sid, her teammate there, coming over as well. And quick look in over at UCF Duke. We thought that the Knights scored another run, but the play at the plate, and the Knights were thrown out. So Williams thrown out at the plate. It's still 3 apiece. UCF still hanging on as Sid lines that one foul down the third base line.
Looks like the Blue Devils getting out of that inning after that wild pitch to start it off, but a hard hit ball in our ball game off the bat of Rachel Sid. Looks like Coach Kirk Walker is trying to argue, saying that it tipped off of the glove of Kaylee Harding over at third base.
And it's one of those real-time decisions. Obviously, Kirk Walker thinking he has the better vantage point standing in that third base box, but so challenging sometimes when you think about just the split decision of the umpires.
Sharply hit. Ooh, it looks like it did tip off of her glove. Important to note, too, there is no video replay here. We have the advantage of being able to watch everything in slow motion, but when I'm looking at it right there, it does look like it tipped off of her glove.
And Sid is retired, looking at that one in from Maddie Balk. 2 away.
Like how she's mixing in pitches low in the zone, both drop balls and some pitches with spin, but we're going to take another look at this line drive here. I think that's where it makes contact. So close. Tough for these umpires too, those hits coming off the bat so hard, but a tough break for the Bruins and ultimately results in a strikeout look in.
Seneca Coro back at the plate. Finds herself in a familiar position as last inning, trailing by 2, and then she had the bases loaded this half.
Driving it down that left field line, all that hard work that she's been putting in the past couple of years, paying off when her team needed her to. Love that swing and the adjustments that she's been able to make up at the plate. Bringing a lot of leadership to coaching up these young freshmen.
And Flaherty gets the ground ball and getting out of the inning. Now Florida State down to their final 3 outs. We'll see what unfolds.
Tax Act Clearwater Invitational, presented by EvoShield, is brought to you by Tax Act. File for less and get more. St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. Let's shine. Plan your escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com. And EvoShield, the source for custom fitting protective gear.
Last chance here for the Seminoles to see if they can get back into this ball game as we head into the bottom of the 7th inning. UCLA with a 6-4 lead over Florida State. A good part of the offensive order coming up for Florida State as well. Mac Leonard, Kaylee Harding, and Michaela Edenfield going to come up and see if they can try to extend this ball game. Leonard hit a nice hard line drive to right field last time. But Megan Faramo just so tough in the circle. She has been shutting it down out there. Gave up a couple of free passes in the 6th, but other than that, she has been fantastic moving the ball so well throughout the zone. So we'll see what she's able to do now to try to close out this ball game.
Mac Leonard, first pitch swinging, sharply hit, and allowed first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
A quality swing by Leonard. Hits it right on the nose, squares up a pitch low in the zone, and it just goes right to Maya Brady. Faramo fired up, but a really good swing, a couple of good swings back-to-back that we've seen from Mac Leonard off of Faramo in this ball game.
Reaching out for that one, Kaylee Harding. And quickly 2 away, and Faramo, I love the emotion that she continues to show in the circle. You talked about that fist pump from last year's Women's College World Series. It's like, boom, it's getting harder and harder.
And I think you can just see with the fist bumps and the emotion just how big this game is. I know we keep having to remind ourselves that it's February, but it truly does have that postseason feel to it.
Michaela Edenfield is at the plate and just wanting to pass the bat over to Devin Flaherty. These Noles led by 2 runs through 5 innings. UCLA a late rally for those 2 in the top half of this 7th. The difference right now. Both of these teams coming into today's game undefeated here in Clearwater. Lifted into right field, the wind going over, and that does it. UCLA with the comeback win over the 7th ranked Florida State Seminoles. Megan Faramo was brilliant